Thank you, Madam Chair and Ranking Member, for holding this hearing today, and obviously a big thank you to you, Mr. Bridenstine, for your work for our country and with NASA. Like Troy, I have the distinct honor of I represent Northeast Ohio, he's Central Ohio, and we're home to the NASA Glenn Research Center, as you know. Quintessential research center for achieving NASA's vision and mission. Having visited the center recently, saw firsthand just how incredible the scientists are, the engineers, the technicians working there, over 3,000 strong. Just absolutely amazing work. As you may know, Midwest has suffered from the loss of manufacturing jobs over the last decade. Look no further than our recent closing in Lordstown at the GM plant. It's my belief that in recent years, certainly with the Glenn Research Center, NASA has underutilized the commercial aerospace resources and human capital of Ohio and nearby states. What can you do or think about to ensure that Midwest capabilities and capacities are recognized in the procurement and development of goods and services obtained by NASA?
That's another very important question. We are working every day at NASA to make sure that we're taking advantage of all of our centers and all of the talent that we have. And we always consider the talent internal to our agency before we go outside the agency. And what you know very well is we have a lot of talent. Yep. The power and propulsion element, as we just discussed, is a critical piece of the future architecture. But the aeronautics capabilities of Glenn are really second to none. We're talking about wind tunnel technologies. We're talking about the ability to test engines, to increase fuel efficiency, to, in fact, improve the environmental standards of aircraft. All of these things are being done at Glenn in a very meaningful and positive way. And they have implications for our country when we talk about exports, when we talk about how important our engine manufacturing is around the world. We are able to maintain this very cutting-edge capability in the propulsion sector of the aviation market because of the efforts of people at Glenn and other research centers throughout NASA.
Thank you. And then shifting gears, in your testimony you highlight the importance of aeronautics and the U.S.'s leadership in the global industry. As Russia and China continue to make investments in their domestic aerospace sector, I think it's more critical than ever that NASA continue to lead in the fundamental research that will help the U.S. aerospace sector remain competitive, especially in commercial aircraft and autonomous passenger and cargo systems. Administrator, can you talk about how important the aeronautics research that NASA conducts is to our aviation economy and how NASA can better position itself to ensure the U.S. is a leader in aviation research? So kind of take a strategic lens on it, if you could.
Absolutely. So what we have to think about is what does the future of aviation look like, and how does the United States of America remain preeminent in that space, really for our own economy and for exports. And that's really where NASA plays. There are some very leading-edge investments that might be too high risk for a for-profit company to invest in, but we can come alongside and support them in that effort. And we've done that. I don't know if you look at engines these days on aircraft, and as a pilot, I look at these engines, I'm like, man, these engines keep getting bigger and bigger. And the point now where the engines are flat on the bottom because they'll hit the ground, that kind of thing. What is driving that? Well, these are reduction gear capabilities developed by NASA with partnerships with our commercial industries, ultimately so that we could increase fuel efficiency, reduce noise, and have better environmental standards without losing any kind of power or thrust. So those bigger turbofans are a direct result of NASA investments, and we want to keep doing that. It's also important to note a couple of other things I think are important. We want to be able to fly from New York to LA in a matter of 2 hours instead of 6 hours. We want to have an ability to fly supersonic across the United States without a sonic boom that is disturbing to people and infrastructure. That technology is being developed right now so that at the end of the day, FAA can give us a determination that it's perfectly okay to fly supersonic over the United States. We're working on that. And then when we think about urban air mobility, the idea that you can order something and have it delivered to your front door with, no kidding, a drone in a matter of minutes. That capability is on the horizon. And eventually, the idea that we're going to be able to fly humans across a city and avoid traffic with urban air mobility. Like, we need to be thinking about that today. There's billions of dollars of investment going into these activities all over the world. The United States of America needs to be in the lead.
I completely agree with you. Thank you for your time, and I